The Terrapins will kick it away first. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. Nice job executing all of the assignments as they put a stop to that return at the 22. So the Virginia Tech Hokies offense will come out first. They got an incredibly efficient performance from this guy last time out. Now, Jesse, it's about making that a consistent thing.
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing watching that tape back from his last game is the ball never touched the ground, David. It was amazing. And it wasn't that he was so accurate throwing the ball deep down the field. It's just that the ball was always going to the open guy. He did a really good job checking it down, taking the profit when it wasn't open downfield. That kept the offense on schedule. That's really important for this offense today.
And when you're watching it as a defensive player and coming to this football game, man, you know this is going to be a challenge. I better get pressure on this guy. If I let him feel comfortable, you'll see another day like last week. I mean, that dude was accurate. Almost every ball was caught. They were in rhythm. They're going to have to find some creative ways to get him off his spots and make him feel uncomfortable.
Well, they're going RPO. Nice job handing it off, and really good vision there, just getting what he can get, right? Puts his foot in the ground, gets forward, helps this offense find positive points.
The Hokies want to crank the tempo. On 3rd and short, they'll go to the power running game. They've got it inside the 40 at the 39 as they pick up the first down. And the Hokies are on the move.
Well, you got to be able to turn the page quickly on defense. Just gave up a first down on the ground, but here comes tempo. You've got to get lined up.
And he never had a chance. Just stopped cold as soon as he got it. After losing a couple on that last play, here's 2nd and 12. Makes the catch. Didn't pick up a lot there. Moved it forward just a few. Here comes the 7th play of this opening drive. They've moved it well, but now facing 3rd down. Back to pass, it's Hope. Makes the grab. He's all the way down to the 27-yard line, and they are threatening.
And how about the confidence of this quarterback? Palmer, I got to know, man. I know this receiver's a stud, but I'm putting 2 guys on him. I'm trying to take him out of the ball game, and he's still going to throw it that direction?
Because even when he's covered, he's open. And these guys work tirelessly all week long. They understand where they're going to be. They understand when the football's coming out. You could put a 3rd guy over there, and I don't know if that would have changed the quarterback's decision. I think he was still going to his big playmaker on the perimeter.
He's got his man. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. Short completion last play. Let's see if they throw it again. Wants to throw again. Throws to the tight end. Got a man in the middle. And he takes it all the way down to the 10-yard line. An explosive play for this offense. Looking to throw on 1st down. Zings it complete to the right. He's down at the 1, and they almost had the touchdown pass on that one. Operating in the red zone here on 2nd down. From the shotgun, the handoff to the back. And he takes it in for the score. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. And with that first touchdown, the old Hokie Stones are trembling in this great stadium.
Yeah, and such great fans in Lane Stadium. Early in the game has a reason to be rocking. They get on the scoreboard first. Everybody going bananas.
They get set for the point after as we have the first score of the game. And the extra point is good, and it's 7-0. They put it in the end zone with a 12-play scoring drive. And they capped it off with a 1-yard plunge. Looking for an alley from inside his own 10. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. The Terrapins offense headed onto the field. Our first look at them today. And they're going to have to contend with a secondary that is one of the best in the nation, Jesse.
And they're a complete secondary, too. When you watch them on film, they're very good defending the pass and coverage, and they can play man and zone. But I like them, David, because they're not afraid to put their face in the fan. Everybody in the back end likes to tackle and likes to be physical. That's what makes them special.
Yeah, and it's just an elite group in the back end. Multiple guys that win their individual matchups, which makes it hard to run offense. And this is a group that, yes, they tackle well, they see the football well, they break on it well. You better worry about the ground game. You better get some kind of deception going against this secondary.
Oh, they're after him. It's picked off. The Heisman contender turns it over. Oh, he got loose. And a big return after the INT sets up the offense for this possession.
And after watching that interception, I just wonder if this kid's too amped up tonight. He was so excited to take the field. He thought this was going to be a game that he could stat it up, but he's going to have to do a better job tonight with his decision-making. That is not how you want to start a game.
And Virginia Tech sends the offense onto the field. They reeled off a long touchdown drive the last time they had it. Much better field position this time around. Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender. The Hokies are in the hurry-up.
A nice job being gap sound by this defense. And here you go. Watch what this offense does. They'll get right back on the ball, and they'll go really quick, so you got to be prepared.
That is a big win for this defense as they were right there as soon as he got the ball. Dropping back, it's Hope. And the third down pass incomplete after a good deflection by the defense. And the Hokies will punt it away on fourth down. First punt of the day, and he'd love to lock them up close to their goal line. The punt goes out of bounds, and a nice job to get them backed up. I think they'll spot it right around the 15. Offense making its way onto the field to start the drive. Leaves it with the back. He fought him off for a while, but that's what they mean by gang tackling. After getting knocked back to open this drive, it's 2nd and 12. Off the play fake. Soft spot in the middle. And he's got enough for the first down. It'll be at the 35. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Wants to throw on first down. Shoots it to the left. Complete downfield. And he's brought down after a nice gain. And the Terrapins come to the line with a new set of downs. Wide receiver comes in motion. Got enough for the first down and wants more. And this offense is feeling it as they rip off a big chunk of yardage, and they've got it on the 22.
Great job by the running back there with the vision and patience. He sees the hole, puts his foot in the ground. He's able to get north up the field with a great burst and get the first down.
Off the play fake on first down to throw. And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces second down. They'll run this play from the pistol. The run to the left. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. Sandman entered earlier, and now they're trying to make it go night-night on this third down. Lets it fly deep downfield. Right through his hands. He had a touchdown and just didn't look the ball in. It'll be fourth down. And the field goal unit is on the field. Field goal is good. That'll bring him to within 4.
And listen, y'all know in the booth and everywhere how I feel about kickers. Don't always love leaving it on their foot, so to speak, but nice job executing. He keeps doing stuff like that. I'll keep trotting him out there.
And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. And we're about to get another look at this Hokie offense. Off to a good start here, and back to work now with a 7-3 lead. Throws for the tight end. He's open on the right. Ripping off a pretty good chunk of yardage. They've got it out to the 41 with a first down.
love that throw. I'll tell you, if he keeps making more of those, Lane Stadium and this incredible crowd is going to be going nuts. We've called games here plenty of times in the past. This is one of the best venues in all of college football. And this guy right now is heating up at the QB position. Watch out. It's going to be a sonic boom in here.
Now the play fake. Quickly to the tight end. And he's going to be taken down, but there's a penalty flag on the field. Amazing how many times an offensive holding penalty will stall a drive. We'll see if the offense can overcome it. The RPO fired complete to the left. He's brought down, but he went backwards after that completion, not the way they had it drawn up. From the gun, they'll try to impose their will. Oh, the ball's on the ground. Defense scoops it up, and he's headed the other way. He'll be stopped, but not before getting the football and picking up big yardage on the return. What a play there.
Oh, man, how about that? You get your first carry, you're so excited, trying to make a difference, trying to make a play, trying to prove yourself, and you coughed it up. That's not a good start. First carry to fumble it, give it to the other team.
Maryland has the ball back, and the Terrapin offense ready to go. A little bit of feeling each other out. They're down 7-3 as they open this drive. The RPO is complete. The stop is made, but this offense is threatening. First and goal from the 9.
And that RPO play was run to perfection. The run fake forced and sucked the defense up, and a nice job on the route by the receiver, not telegraphing that he was breaking to the inside on the slant.
Motion from the wide receiver. This is a designed run. And he avoids the hit and slides after the short gain. Picked up some of what they needed on first down. Now it's second and goal from the 5. Wants to go up top. Touchdown, Terrapins! Quick strike through the air for the score.
This guy's been an absolute force in this offense early this season, guys. We're only in the 3rd game. He's already got 3 touchdown catches. Talk about a matchup nightmare for opposing defenses.
They'll try to tack one more on their score. And the extra point gives them a 3-point lead at 10-7. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Dynamite matchup this week in the ACC, fellas. Clemson is in trouble right now, and unless something changes, this could be the kind of loss that sets the program back significantly. They're trailing by 14 to Georgia Tech. Any major changes in this ACC standoff, you'll hear about them first from us, gentlemen.
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us. The Hokies will hustle to the line.
Yeah, and listen, offensively, you run the RPOs. You just want positive yards, make the right read the guy. If he wants to drop back a little bit, hand it off, get some positive yards, go on to the next play.
They'll try to move the chains on 3rd and short from the 27. The play action fake. Lofts one high and deep. Makes the grab inside the 30. Touchdown, Hokie. He broke away from the defense and they couldn't catch him.
This offense is so good. Man, they can hurt you in so many different ways, and they do it so quick, so explosive. They can put small drives together, big drives together. They've really had a great year, and that's why they're a top 10 offense.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And with the extra point, they're up 14-10. Quick strike offense on that 3-play scoring drive. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. On the move from inside his 5. He was hoping for something a little more dynamic, but they get him on the ground at the 20. A lot of field in front of them as they open this possession from their own 20. Looking to throw on first down. Finds his big tight end. That'll be enough for a fresh set of downs. He gets it to the 32. First play of the period, first down here. We're through one, and what a back-and-forth battle between these two quarterbacks as we look at the stats. They flipped into the field, and we're ready to play. With a first down, they'll snap it from the 32. Use the play fake, now to throw. Caught in the backfield, it's Wood. And this one will be stopped for no gain. Well, will they dial up on second and a long way to go? Back to pass. And he really needed to hold on to that one, but it was not loose, and third down is coming. And now this offense will try to overcome that second down incompletion. Trying to move the sticks on third down through the air. Here's a heat. And the pass rush is effective, and they tackle him at the 19. The quarterback had plenty of time to throw there, but nowhere to go with the football, and eventually he was shown where to go, to the ground.
And those are great for me as a defensive lineman. I love those sacks. I mean, those are so fun because it doesn't matter if I get there in 1 second or 5 like it took right here. The defensive backfield did their job, made the QB hold on to the football, and the defensive line just kept pursuing, and then the defense finally got a sack.
He'll settle for some pretty good field position and make the fair catch at around the 35. And Virginia Tech sends the offense onto the field. Took the last drive in for a touchdown. They'll try to do it again on this one. Fires to the right. Got his man downfield. And he gets a big chunk of yardage to the 34-yard line. And the Hokies heading quickly to the line.
Really nice looking pass there. I'll tell you, they ask you to do a lot at Virginia Tech when you're the quarterback. You're expected to make plays with your feet because of some of the greats that have come before you, but you've also got to be able to hurt defenses throwing it as well. The entire playbook is open and at your disposal, and this guy right now, he's showing you with his arm talent, he can carve up this defense.
Out of the gun to give to the back. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. They'll try to run for it. Stopped in the backfield, and this defense has forced him into fourth down. Fourth down, and a field goal's not going to help much. They'll try to keep the drive alive by converting here. Here's the pressure. And he sacked. A big play on fourth down to stop this drive.
He had nowhere to go with the football. You could tell, surveying the field, somebody's got to get open to go make a play. Man, throw it up. Run it. Do something. You can't take a sack on fourth down. You got to give somebody an opportunity to make a play for you.
Here comes the Maryland offense back onto the field. They just didn't quite find the rhythm on that last drive, Jesse. They had to punt it.
I think they got to be more physical, David. I think up front they got to do a better job getting blocks and establishing this running game.
And how easy does football become if you're the more physical team? If you can threaten the run and then run play action, it opens up the whole offense at your disposal.
Now they're starting to feel it. They've got a first down at the 44. From the gun, they'll try the middle. He's going to lose a yard on that one. Try to make up for some of that lost ground on second down. Looking to fire. Throws toward the end zone. Touchdown, Maryland! They went for it all, and it paid off with the score.
A lot of times you see those receivers, as soon as they get by the DBs, you know, that hand goes straight up in the air. I got him. I got to step on him. He got to step on him. And the ball was thrown perfectly out in front. And you can see he runs underneath it, gets it, and gets the long touchdown on the go route.
PAT unit on the field. And the extra point puts them up by a field goal. Quick work on that scoring drive, just 4 plays. They're coming out to tee it up for the kickoff, and that last score was a real buzzkill for this crowd. He'll start the return inside his 5. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. We're about to get another look at this Hokie offense. The run from the shotgun. Stopped at the 25 after a 5-yard gain. The Hokies want to move quickly.
The offense has a little bit of success on the ground, and they're up. Look at them. They're ready to go again. Back on the line of scrimmage, ready to run another play.
Works ahead for a couple. They'll stop him at the 27. Fairly manageable distance here on 3rd down from the 27. Off the RPO, fire right, trying to convert. Just gashing this defense, a big gainer to the 40-yard line. And the Hokies have it with a 1st and 10. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Out of the gun, the inside handoff to the running back. Able to scrounge 3 yards out of that one somehow. It's 2nd and 7. The give to the tailback. Turning it on. He goes out of bounds across the 25, mark it at the 24, and this defense, its head is spinning.
That is an impressive run. And I'll tell you, I know when we think Virginia Tech offense, we're always talking about running quarterbacks, but they've oftentimes had a running back to go along with that mobile QB threat. It makes this rushing attack so difficult to stop. This guy right here really has the ability to do it on his own, though. Because of his speed and power, he is dangerous.
Looking for room, it's Peters. What powerful running, just driving the pile forward for everything he could get. He'll be just a few inches short. They'll try to drive ahead on 3rd and short. That'll be enough to give them a 1st and goal from the 10. The Hokies started this drive backed up in their own end, and now they've moved into position to score. He'll pull it on the read. He's going to lose a yard on that one. Going to work in the red zone, they can't pick up the 1st down without getting it into the end zone. Wants to throw. It's Hope. He caught it. That completion will take it inside the 4, and the offense is threatening. The terrain gets rough this deep in the red zone. 3rd down. They can't pick up the 1st without scoring. Got it behind the line. It's Peters. He couldn't find anywhere to go, and now it's 4th down. Here comes the field goal unit. Right down the boulevard. And we are tied here in the 2nd quarter. After that latest answer tied things up, just about set to kick it away again. Here he comes from inside his own 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. Maryland has the ball back and the Terrapin offense ready to go. Quick release by the QB. And just a short, safe pass play. They pick up a few. They're dealing with a 2nd and long. Quarterback on the keeper. Steaming into the backfield to make the stop, and he'll lose 4. These fans touching the figurative Hokie stone, doing their part to help out on 3rd down. Wide open downfield. And he'll get it up to the 38. It'll be a 1st down. His offense lines up feeling awfully good after that big play. Handoff to the single back. They can rely on this guy to pick up solid yardage when they need it, and he's out to the 43. Trying play action. Fires complete on the crosser. Good job running that route to get past the sticks because he got nothing after the catch. Gonna run it. It's Wood. And a nice run there before the defense finally makes the stop. We'll take a quick break here. 2 minutes to play in the 1st half. The Terrapins can really attack on this 2nd and short. Wants to go up top. And he just threw that one away. Safe move, didn't see anything, lived to play another play. Let's see what they do here on 3rd and short from the 41. Just missed on the connection, incomplete. And they're running out the kicker to give it a try. He says he can kick one from 75, but here he's going to need just 58 of them. And he missed it. No good. And here in the second quarter, we remain all knotted up.
Oh, man, the dreaded doink. When you knock it off the crossbar, those are ones where, man, just a couple inches to the other side, towards the middle, and that thing's in, but it still counts as a missed opportunity.
To the air, it's Hope. He's got him. And he's able to shed one tackle and gets a pretty good pickup. Clock's running, and they'll try to get to the line warp speed for 2nd down. Back to pass. Throws to the wideout. It's incomplete, and that also might be what is called a learning experience and one this freshman got away with. Looking to throw for it. Pulls it in. It's Traore. And a big-time grab there. Knocked down immediately, but not before he gets it to the 40. The offense will have to use its first timeout of the half. Wants to keep it in the air. Makes the grab. And good coverage by the defense, just a short gain. Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on 2nd down. Finds a tight end. He goes out of bounds, but not before getting it to the 32. And the Hokies come to the line on 3rd and short, trying to convert here. It'll be a run on 3rd and short. Just outside the red zone as they pick up the first down. They'll spot it at the 22. Clock stops momentarily for the first down. They'll hurry to the line. To the air on 1st down. And that incomplete pass caused by the big hit on 1st down. 2nd down coming. Backed up now. Here's 2nd and long. They'll throw again after the incompletion. Grabs it in the middle. Now the connection takes it to the 11. Timeout called by the offense, and now they just have one remaining in the half. Wants to go up top on 1st down. Snagged in the middle. It's Traore. They get it down to the 7 on that pass play, in prime position for a score. Scanning the field, it's Hope. Looking for the score. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. Quick strike through the air for the score.
And the offense breaks the tie, takes the lead, gains some momentum. How big is this, Palmer, now going into the half with the lead, with the momentum?
Well, they break the tie, but they also break their confidence a little bit now. The opponent now has to go into the locker room probably down, and they're wondering, what adjustments do we have to make? What do we have to fix? Because we've got our work cut out for us in this game.
And the extra point is true, and they're on top by 7. So that's a 60-yard touchdown drive. And they close the deal with the 7-yarder for the score. And he takes this from inside the 5. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. Inside 30 seconds to play in the half. We'll see how aggressive they are on this drive. And I think they'll give him 2 on that one. 2nd and 8 coming up. First half in the books. Time now to join Kevin Connors in our halftime update.
Fellas, you've been calling a great one today from there in Blacksburg. And it's clear the aerial attacks of both teams have been relentless. They've been burning each of these secondaries like toast. Just an assault on the defensive game plans, if there even were defensive game plans. Gotta think, fellas, based on the first 2 quarters, we're going to see every route in the route tree again in this second half. And with that, let's send it back to one of the best home field advantages in football, Lane Stadium.
The Hokies will line up to kick off and start the second half. On the run from inside his own 5. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. Here comes the Maryland offense back onto the field. They'll start the third quarter with the run. There he goes. Really needed a play like that to get out of their own end. They move the chains. They mark it at the 29. He'll do it himself. How about this sophomore stopping him short of the first down line? Working well behind the sticks on second down. Quickly out to the tight end. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. On third and long, he's going to have to throw for it. And the defense makes a play, and they get the quarterback down at the 26.
Well, when the offense goes empty, that triggers the defense to want to blitz. The linebacker came that time. They couldn't get him blocked, and down goes the QB.
And the Terrapins will try to pin them back with the punt. This will be the second time they've had to kick it away. That's a perfect example of not settling for a fair catch. Pick up whatever yardage you can and help out the offense. Catch in the middle. It's Traore. And he was able to get away from one tackle, but plenty of help was on the way. Decent pickup on that play. They'll send the tight end in motion. To the ground with the back. And he's knocked down, but there's also a flag that's been dropped. Let's check on the call. A solid gain on that one, and it goes for naught as the penalty will back them up. Looking for a man. It's Hope. It's complete to the right. And he used that spin move to put him in the spin cycle and gain extra yardage. They'll try to pick it up on the ground. That just never had a chance as they controlled the middle of the field and stopped him in the backfield on third down. Punt is on its way. And you make the stop, and that is exactly what you want out of your punt cover unit. From the gun, running back on the move. Some hard running there, but just too many defenders as he stopped for a loss. Lost 5 on that first play, and now it's 2nd and 15. Gives it to the back on the draw.
And yeah, that's kind of surprising. We talked about this before the game. One of the big matchups. Run the football against a defense that's been susceptible against the run throughout the season. But this offense just can't find a way to...
He puts a lot of air under it down the sideline. Oh, he dropped it. That deep ball was right on the money. You just have to make that catch. The Terrapins line up to punt it away. 3 and out, and not much choice but to get rid of the ball. Now on the return. And they'll get him on the ground as the offense comes out to start the next drive. And Virginia Tech sends the offense onto the field. Didn't get anything done. 3 and out on their last series. They'll try to find a rhythm here. A solid pickup there before the defense is able to make the stop. And the Hokies want to pick up the tempo.
Yeah, and how about the QB? Calls his own number and all these options, obviously multiple plays. He decides to stick with it, get some positive yards, and now what's next off of that? What's my next read off of that? How am I going to mix things up and keep this defense off balance?
And a good job of coverage by that defense, just a short pickup. The Hokies are at the line looking to convert on 3rd and short. Off the RPO, complete. Now with a great opportunity as they pick up the first down. They've got it at the 40. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Creates a little room. Slipping, sliding, dancing his way down to the 32. And the Hokies can play this second down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go.
defense has got to be more physical up front. Don't let them have those running lane, those holes to break off a nice run, get a first down. And here's the thing, you better reload quick because they're right back on the line to call another play.
Timeout called by the defense. It's their first of the half as they'll make some adjustments. Off the play fake on first down, wants to throw. And the quarterback is knocked down back at the 13. Defense rose up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a 2nd and long coming. Gets it out quickly. Now the connection takes it to the 11. It's 3rd and goal and a long way from the end zone. To throw, it's Hope. Trying to find the end zone. And they'll get him down inside the 5, but this offense powering toward a score. Power ahead. They stop him short of the marker, and they'll turn it over on downs. And the Terrapins backed up deep in their own end, trying to create a little space on first down. We'll give him a couple on that one. 2nd and 8 coming up. Went to the running game on first down. Now here they come again. The give to the back. Gets that thing away from the goalpost. He's got 5 out to the 10-yard line. Sandman entered earlier, and now they're trying to make it go night-night on this 3rd down. They'll try to run for it. They make the stop, but he'll have enough yardage for a first down. The Terrapins come to the line with a fresh set of downs. Trying to get the corner. He's knocked down a couple of yards behind the line of scrimmage. Last play was a near disaster, now dealing with 2nd and 13. They'll move the wide receiver. They've been running it, but now the pass. It's picked off. Don't see that very often from this Heisman Trophy candidate. He goes down after the short return, but what a play to get the football back. Get another look at this Hokie offense. On that last drive, 4th and goal didn't exactly work out. They really need to pay it off.
They look like they are pumped up and ready to go here.
And listen, it was a good drive, so you've got to remember that. But they got to realize, I got to get points. When I get in those areas, I got to capitalize. And they wanted a touchdown last time. This drive, they can go make it happen.
The Hokies in the hurry up. Grab on the left. And the catch and run into the end zone. Touchdown, Hokie. He has been surgical. Precision passes. Using the scalpel, the fine instrument, rather than the blunt one.
And the defense has had absolutely no answer for him. Just, he's been down their throats all game long. A step ahead, understanding what he's seeing, and just destroying this defense.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And he tacks on the extra point. And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
Guys, you can make a good case. This is the game of the week in the Big 12. Texas Tech is currently trailing right now, but it's only a couple of points. That quarterback just needs to show the poise of a young Patrick Mahomes, and they are right back in this. They're trailing by 11 to Iowa State. We'll circle back if anything big happens in this Big 12 Clash of the Titans. Guys?
Thanks for the update on that one, Kevin. Let us know when it goes final. Off-play action. Complete with conviction on the crosser. Makes the grab almost to the first down marker, but a good pickup on that one. He's looking to throw on 3rd and short. He lost one down the sideline. Pulls it in on the right. How about this senior picking up some yardage and making a nice play on that one?
And this defense is going to have their hands full because they're going to need to be comfortable with guys one-on-one on islands in the perimeter of the field. And they're just going to have to make better plays than what we saw right there. They knew this offense was going to try to be aggressive. Going to need better effort in the back end for this defense moving forward.
Makes that one pay off, and they finally get him down at the 38. It'll be first down. And the Terrapins have their offense in high gear. Fires to the wideout. And he throws another interception, his third one of the night. Stopped right at the 40-yard line, and this defense celebrating the turnover.
And you will always remember your first, and how about that? Breaking on the football, getting an INT, the first INT. Keep the football, brother. The first of many big-time plays for this guy.
They'll start this drive 60 yards in front of them from their own 40. Using his legs, it's Peters. Not a whole lot of room there. 3 yards maybe, 2nd and 7. And the Hokies moving quickly to the line.
Well, we're not quite in the fourth quarter yet. We're almost there, but you're seeing the attitude shift now for this offense. They've got the lead, so they've got to be able to run the football. You're going to see a lot more of that, I think, as this game keeps going on. They're trying to wear this defense down when the game is almost over.
Finds his tight end. They'll finally drag him down, but not before he gets it to the 40, and it's a first down. And talk about spreading the ball around. Everyone getting a chance to show off the hands based on the number of targets we've seen. To play, and it might be unlikely, but hey, it's college football. Comebacks happen. They go back to work with a first down in the final period of this one. They'll leave it with him.
It's going to be tough sledding for the offense here. They're trying to ice this game by running the football and bleeding the clock. They've got a pretty good lead here late in the game, but the defense knows the run's coming, right? So they're going to be loading the line of scrimmage, getting stops like what they just did. Be interesting to see what the offense does on this next one.
Dumps it off in the flats. Past the 30. Oh, he's got some space. Slippery slide. Find his way and ran away from the crowd into the end zone. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. They tack a little more onto this lead, and they're on their way to a 3-0 start. Now they'll line up for what they hope is automatic. And the extra point splits the uprights, and they're up a full 3 touchdowns, a 21-point cushion in the fourth. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. Maryland has the ball back, and the Terrapin offense ready to go. Under fire. And that defense gets to him, and down he goes at the 9.
And this defense came to play. They know about the high-profile QB. They rose to the challenge and dominated the competition today. They took care of business, and they made no doubt about who's the better football team.
The Terrapins trying to find their way forward after the big loss on the last play. Second down, he'll throw it. Here comes the heat. Going to try to get it himself. Across the 25, he's got room. That'll be good enough for a first down. They'll mark it at the 30. This offense is like running a perfection drill in practice against air. Chunk play after chunk play, and here they come again. And they finally get him down, but not before he's got him set up for business at the 49-yard line. Looking downfield on first down. Bringing the heat. Got to protect the merchandise. Gets down without taking a hit. Let's see what they've got on second down. Motion from the wideout. Slithers into space. How about this sophomore stopping him short of the first down line? And the Terrapins come to the line on 3rd and short, looking to keep the drive moving. They'll run for it on 3rd and short. And boy, is he close to that first down, maybe just a couple of inches short. Down in the 4th quarter, it's too late for empty possessions. They'll go for it on 4th down. Down he goes, and the defense snuffs out this drive with a sack.
And I tell you what, you see this a lot. 4th down, I'm putting pressure on the quarterback. The defense brings the blitz. They have no answer. Nice job being aggressive on a big 4th down.
And Virginia Tech sends the offense onto the field. That last drive, an absolute aerial assault for the touchdown, Jesse.
And it was a nice job in play calling, too, David, just giving the quarterback...
Breaks into the open. An explosive play in the running game as he's got the first down. So they move the sticks on the run. Let's see what they do with this one. The give out of the gun. Brought down just outside the red zone. He moves the chains. It's at the 22. They are dialed in on this drive. A couple of chunk plays, and now they'll snap it on 1st down. Might as well give it to him again. Getting work done on the ground. He's pulled down at the 14-yard line. It'll be 2nd down, and remember, they can pick up a first without scoring. Grabs over the middle. It's Traore. Defense is there to make the stop, but he's got the first down, and they'll have it 1st and goal at the 6. They'll try to get it in with the run. He never had a chance on the draw. Tackled almost as soon as he got the ball. Defense rose up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a 2nd and long coming. To the air, it's Hope. Got his man on the outside. That completion will take it close to the 5-yard line. They'll mark it at the 6.
Well, a short completion setting up 3rd down now. Who is your best playmaker that you can target in this area of the field?
6 plays brought them here. Now number 7 on 3rd and goal. From the gun, wants to pass. That 3rd down pass was coming in hot before it fell to the ground. And for the 2nd time tonight, they'll trot out the field goal kicker. And he'll try to knock through a short one, his 2nd of the day, this one from 23. And this one is perfect. And that lead grows even bigger. That lead just keeps getting fatter, and this kickoff team doing a little running. On the move from inside his 5. And the returner could find no daylight. He goes down. Here comes the Maryland offense back onto the field. They've got it back after that last drive stalled out, and they were stopped on 4th down, David.
Yeah, and they put a little bit of a drive together, but, Jesse, they stalled on the other side of the field. They got to find a way to keep that momentum going as they get closer to the end zone. I
agree. I do like their mindset, though, and I think they need to continue being aggressive moving forward in this game.
Caught close to the marker, it's Wood. A quick tackle made, but he's got plenty for the 1st down. Looking to throw on 1st down. Pressure coming. He's going to take off. Quarterback gets the 1st down. And the explosiveness, the big gainer gets it to the 49-yard line.
You got to be impressed with the quarterback on that last play because he's already been sacked a ton of times in this game. He knows he does not have a lot of time to survey the field, get through his progression. So as soon as he feels a lane to take off and run, he's going to take it. And a really nice job that time, showing off the athleticism and picking up the 1st down.
Stonewalled again. No gain on the play. They keep trying to stick with the running game, but there's not much getting done. They'll run play action. And the pass is incomplete, jarred loose by the hit. It'll be 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. He's got an open man. He gets the job done on third down. They move the chains. It's at the 37. Wants to throw on first down. Fires to the tight end. And the first guy couldn't get him, but the second one does, but not until he picks up the first down. Maybe this will breathe a little life into this offense, which has been flatlined in the second half. Here's 1st and 10. Trying to make magic on the scramble. Turning it on. A really nice run and gain, and he gets down to avoid taking punishment. That will take us to the 2-minute timeout, and not much time left for this offense to put together a miracle. With the run on 1st and goal. And he rolls into the house. Touchdown, Terrapins!
This guy just has a nose for the end zone, and you love his ability to find creases, use his speed in the open field, and go score. He's been really good for his offense early this year. That already his 5th rushing touchdown on the season.
And they'll try to tack on 2. They want to throw it. Unloads to the wideout. Just missed his man, gave him just a little too much. The deficit is huge. This one is all but over, but they'll keep trying and line up for the onside kick. And we're about to get another look at this Hokie offense. What a feeling this has to be, David, in complete control and headed toward victory formation.
No stress, under a couple minutes left in the ball game. Well in hand. These are the ones, Jesse, you like to just run the clock, take a knee, whatever you want.
No doubt. They're going to love watching this game film, too. There's just so many positives to take away from this, and this is the kind of performance today that is really going to help this offense's confidence.
The Hokies come to the line on 3rd and short, trying to keep the drive alive. On 3rd and short, the power run here. And he's going to go backwards, and they force a 4th down. What a play by this defensive front. He boomed it through a 50-yard field goal, showing off that powerful back. Guys, this is a really good win for this ball club as they put together consecutive victories.
And in this season, that's what you got to do. You got to put together good weeks, build on each other, build that momentum, continue to grow as the season goes along.
Yeah, David, it's all about building confidence, and it's really important for these players to go out, work hard in practice, and see that hard work really pay itself off on game day. This is a team that's really starting to believe in itself.
That's going to do it from here. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and you've been watching another presentation of EA Sports College Football.